You know that I was on Facebook Live on the 25th of March, 2023 when I saw this lady literally shot the man she called her husband. Um, I didn't want to put it on YouTube because it was too raw and I thought they're gonna shut me down. But I managed to see the news video about it, so I included in this in this in this video right here. So it was a horrific scene.
Then y'all wonder why the kids.
Let me set the stage for you. So Saturday on the 25th of March, I saw this lady on Facebook Live walking through a house on the phone, complaining that her husband wasn't cooking for the kids. Now, there was 4 kids in the house: the man, the lady, and her mother. So her mother was in the house as well, and she was just walking through the house, talking to her mother about the man not cooking for the kids. And apparently, he was on his way to work. It was at 7 o'clock in the morning. He was trying to get out of the situation. He was trying to go to work. Apparently, he had to pick up somebody else on the way to work. So he was rushing, and she was complaining. She was all in his face, kind of touching his face, pushing the phone away. And the mother-in-law was just in the background, just pushing her daughter along, just making the situation much worse. And I was just like, I mean, he's on his way to work. You got 2 women in the house, 4 kids in the house. Why don't you guys cook for the kids? I mean, he's out. He's on his way out. What is the issue?
Yeah, people want to have something to say, but he ain't here with his kids. He ain't helping. He left at 6:00. He left at 6:06 to go be with his mama.
They be on his mama kid instead of over here trying to cook something to eat.
Instead of trying to.
Why is there got to be a question about do I need to cook for the kids? Why is there a question?
And he don't never have to question. He don't want to question everybody's loyalty. But where is his loyalty at?
I ain't saying no damn loyalty. I'm talking about.
But he want to talk about me what I am not doing. He want to talk about me what I'm not doing.
You want to talk about unnecessary.
Talk about unnecessary. Then he talking about calling the police. Talk about I'm gonna get my stuff. But you got 4 kids and a wife. It's 7:36. He can't even be.
He can't even come here and cook for these kids.
He can't even come here and cook for the kids.
He got to be at work at 8 o'clock.
Nah, matter of fact, he got to be at work at 9.
Okay, but he still got time to cook for these kids.
And then he got to go pick up his. He got to go pick up his buddy from his job, Law.
Well, he need to tell Long he need to get his mama car and go to work.
He pick up his buddy Law, take him to work back and forth every day.
I ain't got nothing to
But
give
then-
nobody, helping nobody, but if Long
But he can't put gas in both cars.
That's what I'm saying. If Long ain't getting him no gas money to go to work, talking about people got stuff. Okay, he wanna put it like that. Okay, I got stuff to do too. I'm over here. I got stuff to do too. I'm over here. I'm over here. I'm done.
No, you ain't trying to get ready for work. Look at him. This is a sad case, y'all. He getting his stuff. Look at that. Sad case. As a father.
Okay, Jeremy, what is the conversation you want to have?
Yeah. And your baby in the room.
Conversation you want-
In the video, you could hear the mother-in-law in the background, just making the situation worse, just amping it up. Just not even thinking logically about the situation. After all, this happens in most marriages, in most homes. The mother-in-law will normally move in the house, or the family member will normally move in the house, and then if there's a situation or disagreement between both spouses, the family member will normally choose a side, and then they will all gang up on this one spouse and try to beat down at the spouse, just try to gang up on him. And you also notice that the lady, she brought everybody in her situation. She brought the whole Facebook Live, the whole internet, into her private business. I guess maybe she wants some sympathy, or she want people to trash the man for not cooking for his kids in the morning.
Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Khadijah Michelle Brown is accused of shooting her husband, Jeremy Brown, to death. This happened in Mississippi Saturday morning over the weekend. Now, according to investigators, they got into an argument about him not cooking for the kids before he had to go to work.
That is it. That is the reason. The reason why she attacked this man, she hurt this man, is because he wasn't doing his duty. He wasn't cooking for the kids in the morning, even though he was on his way to work. At 7 o'clock in the morning, he was on his way to work, and she blamed him for not cooking for the kids, even though her mother and her is in the house, not going nowhere. So, it's his fault.
Among other things, that argument turned physical and ended with the fatal shooting, which played out on a Facebook Live stream.
I ain't really trying to argue at all. I'm just trying to get my...
No, you want to go tell your family about this and about that. You want to do this.
I'm trying to leave from over here and pee, man. I ain't trying to argue at all.
A tragic reminder that men are also or could be victims in domestic violence, but
Most of the time, men are victims in domestic violence. I mean, when I want to say or call no hotline or express themselves to, the family member or something else about they being abused physically or even mentally in the home, it kind of, I guess, guys see this as being weak, or at least expressing yourself about domestic violence, or maybe your spouse is beating on you, hurting you. It kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say sound weak, but it kind of feel like, you kind of come off as being weak or something. So most of the time, guys will not want to express that. They will not want to say that, even though they're being physically, or sometimes in most cases mentally abused. So they just take it, just there and take it. So yes, men are most of the time likely to be victim of domestic violence. Let's make that clear.
we have to watch and see what happens and what plays out in this investigation. So we don't want to be quick to say he was a victim of domestic violence. We just don't know what happened. Now, Brown is in police custody tonight, that being the wife. Police say there was a history of domestic violence between Brown and the victim. They didn't say on which side, who was committing the domestic violence. Joining me now for the conversation tonight, we have with us trauma therapist Chow Nguyen and the director of violence prevention and training at the Houston Area Women's Center, Michelle Sachs. Got to have you all here on The Factor Uncensored. You know, and I listened to that video, and we all listened, and in all honesty, you hear her say, "I didn't know there was a gun in the chamber."
So one of the excuses you're going with is that you never knew if there was a bullet in the chamber. You brought a gun to an argument between you and your spouse. Why are you having a gun? I don't want to go into a gun issue. I mean, you live in America, everybody have the right to bear arms to protect themselves. But they get it clear, if you have a gun in the house, most likely someone's gonna use it. It might be for the right reason, it might be for the wrong reason, but the point is, it's gonna be used.
And you hear her say, there was something else you said. I didn't mean to pull the trigger.
Well,
but it's like we have to figure out what happened here. We just don't know the details yet.
But we do know a couple of things, Isaiah. There is a predictor. There was a gun in the house and a history of domestic violence. Someone's going to die with a gun and a history of domestic violence. Whether the perpetrator was the wife or the husband, now we've got a family that's destroyed, kids who have lost one or both of their parents potentially. But you're right, it could go both ways. Was the woman a victim in this case, and she perpetrated this crime out of self-defense? We know of a lot of justified homicides. There are a lot of women coming out of the prison system killing their intimate partner or spouses because of that history. So we don't know everything quite yet.
She's talking about self-defense. Let's talk about the facts so far. She had a gun. There was a gun in the house. 4 kids in the house. The man was in the house. Her mother was in the house, and she was in the house. It was 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. He was out the door, getting ready for work. He was on his way to work. He was going to pick up somebody else to go to work. She was literally walking around the house with her cell phone, complaining about him not cooking for the kids in the morning. her mother was in the background just amping the situation up. And then she went into his face. She was calling his names. From there, she was touching his face, pushing the phone away. And then, I didn't want to show it. No, I'm not going to show that video. She shot him on Facebook Live. She shot him on Facebook Live. That was not self-defense. They're already trying to protect her. They're going to say, oh, self-defense, mentally illness. She's going to go to the judge. Even though she literally killed somebody on live and everybody saw it, they're going to try to give her a lesser crime of what she could face in jail, or maybe probably going to go community service or something. You know, the law is never fair. You never know how it ends in America. You know, for the 4 kids, they're probably going to go live with the wife, mother, the lady that was in the video that was just amping stuff up. Until those kids turn 18, they're going to be hearing all kinds of noise about their father. I'm just going to, this is my experience. They're going to be talking trash about the dad, how he was a deadbeat, how he was not a good father, even though their mother literally shot their father in the house. So what is the takeaway from this video? The first thing is that men do go through domestic violence physically. Most of the time it's mentally. Yes. They don't want to come up and say it. They would trust 1 or 2 person. They would tell 1 or 2 person that they trust about it, but they will not publicly say or display it because they don't want to feel weak or come off as weak, right? So most of the time, they just want to take it. They just want to take the abuse, take the hate, take the mental disturbance. Society tell you you have to take it. You got to be a man. You need to accept this. So most of the time they're gonna take the abuse because what? They don't want to come off as weak. At least the society. They want to be strong. They want to keep their family together. So they want to take as much punishment as possible. And the second thing you take from the video is that if you have a gun in the house, it's gonna be used. Another thing you can take away from this video is that learn to keep your business private. Yes, you want to go on Facebook Live, but those who are on Facebook Live or the public, they just here for the entertainment. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel. Let's keep this going.